sometimes when a person is first trying out the air naturalizer, they'll say, they might be living in a smoking environment of pets or whatever. They'll try it for a couple of days and they'll call their dealer and say, it's made things worse. I want these gone. It's created a weird smell, or things have just gotten funkier in here. And tell us kind of what's going on there.
Well, that usually does happen, especially if it's somebody that's really important to you. Doesn't happen often,
right?
But and I would say probably 9 out of 10, maybe even 90 out of 100. Mm-hmm. It's not going to.
Right, it doesn't happen often.
Not going to happen very often. Mm-hmm. But here's what's really going on. Most of the people that are really concerned about their indoor air quality are living in an environment that's pretty well sealed up. Mm-hmm. That's why they've got the problem. Well, you can imagine what happens to an environment when it's all sealed up, because everything that you bring into the house, that you track in, if you've got a pet, that the pet drags in, you bring the groceries in, everything that was in the grocery store is now in your house, all the pesticides. I don't care how careful you are, gradually you bring it in. And if your house is really well sealed up and you really don't get out very much, that stuff just builds up and builds up and builds up.
Right.
Now, you would think that finally it would get so strong that you would notice it. But all of these things are building up in extremely low concentrations as far as our senses are concerned, but they are building up to a level that are harming us because our body is now reacting to it. So you've got a really buildup of all this stuff. Now you bring a system in that is designed not to cover it up, but to actually start the destruction process. Mm-hmm. And when you start the destruction process, which means that you're now going to get the air to start getting faster and working harder and busy at breaking these things down, they don't just go zap and break things down.
Right.
What happens is as you start to put the energy into the air and the elements start to work, they just almost electron by electron, molecule by molecule, start eating away at this stuff that's there. And as it does so, it doesn't just go from something to nothing. It takes some intermediate steps as it gets there. Now, if you've got an environment that is full of this stuff, and you're sensitive to it because you've been living in the environment, especially the elderly, especially the sick, especially anybody with a real serious problem, they are very sensitive to what's going on in that environment. Now, as you break it down, your olfactory sense is going to smell something that your body says, oh, this is a serious problem for us. And your body is sending signals through your olfactory senses, through your sense of smell, that says that this is a problem. And it's going to be that way, unfortunately, until you get it cleaned up. If it smells really strong, that's the strongest message that you can get, that you need to be doing something about cleaning it up. But it is hard to explain sometimes because people say, well, you said this is like fresh outdoor air. Fresh outdoor air doesn't make this happen.
Right.
But you see, fresh outdoor air has got an advantage because day by day, these same things are broken down when they occur. You've got 20 years of accumulation in there, and when this naturalizer gets in there and says, we got work to do, you're going to have to get through that, and you're going to notice. It's just a matter of catching up. And once that environment catches up with what it is outside, then you'll never experience it again. It's a one-time thing, and it's urgent that people say to their customers, even if you don't purchase the naturalizer, which I think you should, be aware that your environment is harming you, and you have to do something. And let's just get through this. Take it a little bit at a time. Every day, run it just a little while for a little while. Maybe turn it way down on low. Definitely turn it down on low for a little while. And just give it a little time to catch up. And once it catches up, you'll absolutely fall in love with it.
Right. I'm an analogy kind of person, but I talk about like a remodel of your home. If you were remodeling your home, they don't just knock down a wall and without creating dust, there are people there. It's uncomfortable maybe for a week, but after that, you love your new remodel job. And it's kind of the same thing where you just got to the air is going to work and let it get to work, let it get caught up. You've had all this time to do that. And again, if you'll just stick with it, you'll be amazed.